Good morning, students. Today we will be studying about a topic called mechanism of evolution, and also these are all very small topics. One is mechanism of evolution and the other one is Hardy-Weinberg's principle. So this belongs to the same chapter that is called as evolution. In our previous lecture we have already discussed about adaptive radiation, branching descent, adaptive radiation as well as natural selection. And I told you that the greatest work of the Darwin is branching descent, or you can say it as adaptive radiation, and then natural selection. Today we will be talking about mechanism of evolution. Now before, in this particular discussion we will be talking about two great people, two great personalities. One is Darwin, Charles Darwin, and the other one is, as you know, Gregor Johann Mendel. Now, Gregor Johann Mendel, he said that all these variations are actually inherited. They pass from one generation to another generation. Charles Darwin did not pay attention to this. That means he said that variations are present, these variations are carried, passed from one generation to another generation, but how it occurred, how this process occurred, how this process operates, he was not able to do. He was not able to tell us. This particular fact, Mendel actually was able to say how the process occurred. But at the same time, Mendel did not spoke about certain things, that variations are present and variations are inherited. Variations are present in a population. Variations are inherited, and about natural selection he was not able to say anything regarding that. So both these famous personalities never met each other. Otherwise, if they would have met, many things would have been solved at that time, but they never had a chance to meet each other. They never had a chance to meet each other. Now, in the first part of the 20th century, Hugo de Vries performed experiment in the evening primrose. And based upon these experiments, he concluded that mutation is actually responsible for speciation, that is new species formation. Now, according to Charles Darwin, variations were very small but had a particular direction. They move in a particular direction according to Charles Darwin. Though variations were very minute differences which were created in the next generation, but they had a particular direction. According to Hugo de Vries, evolution or speciation occurred because of very large changes in the genes, in the DNA, and that is called as mutation, and that was responsible for evolution. So he believed in single large mutation responsible for new species formation. And according to Hugo de Vries, mutation were directionless, were random. So they had a very different opinion about how evolution occurred. But one thing is very clear, that both of them were great personalities in their own terms. Okay. Now, single large step mutation, as told by Hugo de Vries, is called as saltation, SALTATION. So this is all about mechanism of evolution. Actually, today also it is not very clear how actually evolution, what is actual mechanism of evolution. But the truth may lie in between. Both of these things can be correct. The thing which is told by Charles Darwin, that variations are small but are inherited from, they pass from one generation to another generation. Accumulation of these variations in thousands and millions of years can be responsible for speciation. It can also be possible that sometimes large mutation also occur, and that can be responsible for evolution. But that must have occurred millions and millions of years ago. Any large mutation, if we observe today, that may result in extinction of species. So now let us talk about something very different and interesting, called as Hardy-Weinberg's principle. It is also called as Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Now let us talk about this. Now according to Hardy-Weinberg principle or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium, if suppose all the gene pool, that is the total number of genes present in a population as well as total number of alleles present in a population, if they are constant, that is the total number of alleles as well as their genes, if they are constant generation after generation, if they don't change generation after generation. Now in a very simple way I can say that if the frequency of these alleles as well as genes in a total population, if they don't change generation after generation, or in simple terms it can be said that they remain constant, they do not change, they remain constant even generation after generation. In that scenario, in that case, we can say that evolution is not occurring at all in that population. So in a population, if evolution has to occur, there should be change in alleles, in frequency of alleles, in frequency of genes and alleles in that entire population. Let us now talk with a simple example. Let us now discuss with this example as such. P square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Suppose P denotes capital A allele and Q denotes P denotes capital A allele and Q denotes small a allele. As you know, alleles are contrasting part of a gene. These are contrasting pair of a same gene as such. So P denotes A allele and Q denotes small a allele. Now in a population, suppose the percentage of P allele is 16% and Q is 84%. In this form it can be represented as, in this form, P square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. This can be represented as, this 16% can be represented as 0.16, since 1 means 100%. So 16% means 0.16%. Then this is square plus 2 PQ, that is P is again 0.16, Q becomes 0.84, then this one Q square means 0.84 into 0.84, this will be equal to 1. You can find out the calculation, this will always be equal to 1. Now what I mean to say is that if suppose allele frequency of P is 16% in one generation, allele frequency of Q is 84% in that particular generation, in the next generation P will remain to be 16, Q will remain to be 84%. This shows that evolution is not occurring in that population for that particular gene. If the entire genes as well as alleles are calculated, if they are observed, and if there is no change in it generation after generation, that means that evolution is not occurring at all. इसका मतलब ये भी है, अगर परसेंटेज एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी ना बदले एक जनरेशन से दूसरे जनरेशन में, जितने भी जीन्स हैं उनमें जितने भी एलील्स प्रेजेंट हैं, उनका जो एलिलिक फ्रीक्वेंसी है चेंज ना हो, जितने भी जीन्स हैं उनके एलील फ्रीक्वेंसी बदलाव ना हो, तो इसका ये मतलब होता है कि इवोल्यूशन उस पर्टिकुलर पॉपुलेशन में नहीं हो रहा है. Now let me explain you in much better manner. See this P का मतलब क्या होता है, P स्क्वायर का मतलब क्या होता है. P स्क्वायर का मतलब ये है कि सपोज P A डिनोट करता है कैपिटल A, तो इसका मतलब सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में जो ऑर्गेनिज्म होते हैं वो ज़्यादातर डिप्लॉयड होते हैं. वी आर ऑल्सो डिप्लॉयड ऑर्गेनिज्म. That means that both the chromosome contributed by mother and father have same A and A. That is the meaning of P square. That is in the entire population there might be some individuals in which both the chromosome will have capital A and A. कहने का मतलब ये है, मान लीजिए P स्क्वायर सपोज 16, आई एम राइटिंग P स्क्वायर 16 for P square. What does it mean? It means that in the entire 16% for P square, in the entire population there are 16 individuals out of, suppose if there are 100 people in the population, there are 16 people having capital A allele in both of their chromosome. So that is the meaning of P square. If suppose Q square is 84, that means in the population of 100 individuals there are 84 people. Out of 100 people there are 84 people where in their both the chromosome small a and small a is situated. So I hope you have understood it. Okay. Now suppose P is 16% and Q is 84%. Now you can adjust it here. You can take 0.16 square plus 2 into 0.16 into 0.84 plus 0.84 into 0.84 is equal to 1. You can calculate this and you will find it to be correct. You will find this to be correct as such. Okay. Now, in simple words, you can say that. In simple words, you can say that if suppose if in a question it is given that p square is equal to 16%, that means out of 100 people, 16 people are there, and you know I have already told you that p denotes capital A. If this is a question, p square is equal to 16%, and we already know that p is equal to A allele. P is equal to capital A allele. That means out of 100 people, 16 people are there present there, in which in their 2 chromosomes as such, capital A is located, at least for 16% of the entire population. And if suppose q square, let it be 84 people, this means that out of 100 people, there are at least 84 people in both of their chromosome, small a and small a is located. Suppose q is small a allele. That is the meaning. Okay. Now let us talk about the factors which actually influence Hardy-Weinberg principle or Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. What are the factors? Factor 1, mutation. Factor 2, genetic drift. Factor 3, gene flow or gene migration. Gene flow or gene migration. Factor 4, recombination. And factor 5, natural selection. That means these are the 5 factors: mutation, genetic drift, gene flow or gene migration, recombination and natural selection. These are the 5 factors which affect Hardy-Weinberg principle. That means if suppose from one generation to the next generation, there is no change in the gene allelic frequency of genes. These are the factors which can bring change. Suppose if there is no change in the allelic frequency of genes, generation after generation, this speaks about that evolution is not taking place. But these are the contributing factors which are actually responsible for evolution, and they will ensure that Hardy-Weinberg principle it gets affected. That is, the mutation start taking place. This ensures that the evolution takes place generation after generation. So these are the factors which actually affect Hardy-Weinberg principle, and so that the Hardy-Weinberg principle cannot become a possibility in a population. So this is all about Hardy-Weinberg principle. We will go to each and every part of it, but I think our lecture becomes too long and it becomes too difficult for you to understand in one particular if the lecture becomes long. So naturally in the next lecture I'll be explaining you each and everything as such. Thank you. Have a very nice day.